Firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Toombul people, of the Kabi and Waka language groups, the traditional custodians of the land that I'm presently on. I would like to pay my respects to elders of past, present and future, and extend this to the wider community of the Australian Indigenous peoples. Now, as I go on my search for acknowledgement and visibility of the first Australians in my environment, I'm soon to realise there is little but no evidence that the Toombul people had previously lived on this country before the English colonised the area. The Toombul people enjoyed bunya feasts, Bora ring ceremonies and traditional rituals within the suburbs I now call local, Sanford, Petrie or Griffin. This is before the distinguished elder Delapai of the Toombul people made agreements with Thomas Petrie, one of the first English pioneers to run cattle through the local area. Although it is known within research that the Toombul people lived in now what is called the Pine Rivers district, there is no visibility of their history here within the community. Although there was a lot of evidence and history shown around the area of English pioneers, such as Petrie, named after Thomas Petrie, who came in the 1850s, or Griffin, named after Francis Griffin, came here in 1843, or even John Oxley Reserve, named after John Oxley himself, who exported the valuable pine trees from the banks of the Pine River, hence the name. But no such acknowledgement of Dalapai or the Toombul people that lived within the area for tens of thousands of years before Australia was even on the Englishman's map. It was years after the arrival of English settlements that diseases, alcoholism and dispersal, that the numbers of first Australians in the area, much like other areas of Australia, declined, and much so did the acknowledgement of their culture, arts, presence within the area. As I headed out to seek evidence by foot, I was able to find some visible aid of traditional landowners that I have never noticed before. But was this caused by my ignorance, not having much contact with Indigenous Australians, and is not being of value to me before this subject? Or even due to my personal social constructions, including the education system, such as state primary and private secondary schools that I have been a part of. I recall not being taught the importance of acknowledging first Australian population and the Australian history of how the colonisation happened, and the myths that followed, such as the so-called treaties that occurred, but rather the bloodshed that allowed us to live the way we do today. Personally, I believe it is taught in a soft and as a light subject, not encouraged to be taught as an invasion as such, thus more as an agreement where Australians made deals with the English pioneers, adapted to white man's way, and not forced to live under the Crown laws, but accepted their way of life. But this is all but a myth. I believe the oppression of the first Australians' presence and visibility in our environment is part of a nationwide shame and guilt that is our Australian history. That can only be corrected by our society and the way we view and educate the upcoming generations to fix this problem within Australian society.